But let's immediately speak to Danon, the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, who's joining us live. Ambassador, thank you for your time. What's your reaction to the appointment of Mojtaba Khamenei?
Thank you for having me, Roz. It really doesn't matter if it is the father or the son. You have to look at the policy. And the policy of this regime is the same policy: to promote terror, to sow chaos, to acquire nuclear capabilities so they can actually assemble it on the ballistic missiles, and to create a situation that they have control over the region and threatening the region, not only Israel. So I think for us it's more of the same. We will continue with our efforts of this operation to make sure that we actually dismantle this threat.
You say you'll continue with your efforts. Will that include targeting the new supreme leader, just as you did his father?
Anyone who is involved with this terror regime is a legitimate target. And I will tell you that today we have control over the sky of Iran. We obtained air superiority, and we'll continue to target the IRGC and all of those who are collaborating with this regime.
Did you have some hope that perhaps a different choice would be made, that perhaps the military action of the last 9 days would convince those in power in Iran to make a different choice?
Well, I think we know this regime. We have seen their behavior for 47 years. We don't expect them to actually all of a sudden become peaceful. It doesn't work that way. But they could have chosen to play the game, maybe to put somebody who is considered to be more moderate and to try to buy more time. But we saw that they chose to continue with the same hardline perspective, with the same radical ideas, with the same hate against the Western civilization.
Now, bearing in mind what you've just said about the fact that the regime doesn't appear minded to change, in this conflict, you've already said that you believe Donald Trump is making the Middle East safer. After this appointment, do you think that's still true? Because some might look at this and think, well, we're looking at a protracted conflict now.
Absolutely. President Trump is leading toward the right direction, because what we are doing, we are dismantling the capabilities of this regime. So yes, they can choose this guy, that guy, but the capabilities will not be the same. And I think that is the most important thing, is not to look at the declarations, but to look at what capabilities they have. And before the operation, we knew they were racing for a nuclear capability. The ballistic missiles, we saw them all around the region, not only targeting Israel, the entire Gulf, Cyprus, Turkey. They are threatening the entire Middle East. So I think when we look at the results, we will have to look at what they will have the day after. And I can guarantee you that they will not have the same power they had before the operation.
Ambassador, you say Iran was racing towards a nuclear capability, and President Trump has argued both that there was an imminent threat and that Iran could have a nuclear weapon within weeks. But neither he nor Israel has shared any evidence to back that up. Do you intend to share evidence at some point?
But what evidence you need? First of all, they declared what their intentions are. Regarding the nuclear program, they enriched uranium above 60%. They put all the facilities in the mountains. So we didn't want to wait for the point of no return that they will actually assemble the nuclear warheads on the ballistic missiles. That would have been too late for us. So I think President Trump acted, showed leadership, showed moral clarity. And basically what we are saying, we will not make the mistake that the Western civilization did with North Korea. That, there were negotiations, delays, talks, and then one morning we woke up and North Korea has nuclear power and ballistic missiles that can threaten many countries.
But sir, I hear you saying that you don't want to wake up one day and find that we're at the point of no return, to use your phrase. But given the specific claims that Donald Trump has been making, an imminent threat, a nuclear weapon within weeks, do you not think it's appropriate, given the scale of Israel and America's military action, to share details of what you and what America knows?
No, we have good intelligence. We cannot and we will not share everything with everyone. But what can I tell you? That, look at the ballistic missiles. No one can argue about the capabilities of the ballistic missiles. Now, we know they have the nuclear program. We know they have enriched uranium that is more than enough to put together 11 bombs at least. And by the way, people speak a lot about the 400 kilograms of enriched uranium. No one speaks about thousands of kilograms of uranium which is enriched in lower levels, but very fast they can actually level it up. So we knew it, they had all the materials ready. So now the question is, when they will assemble it, we decided not to wait for them to decide about it.
Sir, can I also ask you about Israel's operations in Lebanon and the humanitarian consequences of those operations? You'll, I'm sure, be aware that in one town in the eastern Bekaa Valley, at least 41 people were killed, 40 injured, according to the Lebanese Health Ministry, and that locals are listing the names of civilians who were killed in that particular operation. How does Israel go about ensuring that the humanitarian consequences of your actions are kept to an absolute minimum?
With all due respect, let's speak about the humanitarian aspects of Israelis who are being targeted by Hezbollah. Let's speak about the families that are being injured, evacuated. So yes, we are now attacking Hezbollah because they decided to join Iran. So that is the root of the conflict. And I expect the Lebanese government to take actions and to restrain Hezbollah.
But
so
sir,
the humanitarian aspect
if
is not only in one side of the border. Both Israelis and Lebanese are
absolutely.
suffering.
But sir, if Hezbollah is, for example, not showing due care and attention when attacking Israel, causing civilian casualties, as you say, of course that needs to be looked at, reported, analysed and so on. But it doesn't then justify that Israel would not take care over the humanitarian consequences of your actions within Lebanon. That doesn't follow.
We try to minimize civilian casualties. Moreover, we actually give a notice ahead of attacks. In Beirut, in other locations in Lebanon, we send text messages to the civilians telling them, move out of this region. I never saw Hezbollah texting Israelis telling them to move out. They want to target civilians. We try to minimize the casualties. But I think we have to speak about the core issue. The core issue that the Lebanese government today, they have to take control over the situation. They have to push Hezbollah and make sure that they are not dragging Lebanon to another war.
Well, sir, let me ask about that finally, because you'll, of course, be aware that the Lebanese government has now issued further restrictions on Hezbollah's activity. Are you satisfied with the new position the Lebanese government has taken?
Definitely they are saying the right things, all the declarations in the right direction. But when we look at the actions on the ground, too weak and too little and too late. They should do more and immediately, because we don't want to see escalation. But today you have hundreds of thousands of Israelis living in the north part of Israel who cannot stay there. They are in shelters 24/7. We will not allow it to continue. So now we are striking mostly from the air, but if we will have no choice, we will use every power we have to allow the Israelis to go back to normal life.
Sir, thank you very much indeed for joining us. We appreciate your time today.